My name is Kainton, the Tech Pro, and today I'm going to teach you how to convert two applications to microservices and make them communicate with each other. So there are 4 steps you are going to take. First, we convert them to microservices. Add a Eureka server. As you can see, these are the steps, and we are going to take this step by step, with no steps skipped. We also have to provide, I also provided you with all the codes you need, or the code snippets, and all the steps you need to take right here. So that is why I might be a bit fast, but if I'm too fast, please pause the video, visit the website where you have these steps, this procedure, and feel free to copy it and use it for yourself to follow the instructions. I'd like to remind you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button below so that you get notified when I make new lessons, and also you kind of motivate me to keep making these lessons for you because I do make them for free. So just subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe. At least if this lesson has been informative for you at the end, please like the video and also leave me a comment to let me know how you feel. For now, let me show you the 2 applications I've created. These are 2 applications that simply return lists of teachers and lists of students, and I built this application using Spring Toolsuite. And these 2 applications access data from a database and displays a list of data on a browser as JSON in JSON format. So at this point, if I run the students microservice, I'm going to show you that it gives us a list of students. So let me just click on run at this point. And I'm going to access it at port 8080/student-app/students. Okay, so everything starts up. As you can see in the console, it's going to tell us Tomcat started at port 8080, as you can see right here. So if I go to the browser and I go to port 8080, localhost at port 8080, and I go to, I think I run the student app, student app, and /student, and you can see it gives us a list of students. You have reg number, you have name, you have major, and you have CGPA. These are a student record. So now I'm assuming that you have 2 applications that are not microservices, they are just applications. Now this teacher's application returns a list of teachers. So if I click on it, now there'll be a problem. Now pay attention to what's going to happen. If I run this application as Spring Boot app, now pay attention, and I'm going to now tell you that this is what microservices is going to solve. If you look at the console at this point, you can see that after a while we'll have a problem. I can see that says Tomcat connector configure the listing failed to start. The reason is that 2 applications cannot run at the same time in the same port. And that gives us a head start how we can now start creating a microservices. So the first thing that we need to do is to set the names and the ports of the services. So I'm going to start with student. To set the name and the ports, we are going to go to the application.properties file and simply set the name and the port. So the application name for the student microservice service, let me call it MS student. So I'm going to say spring.application.name equal to MS teacher is equal to MS teacher. And I want MS teacher to run at port 8080. And to make it run at port 8080, you simply say server.port is equal to 8080. And this is what you should do. And okay, 8081, yeah, teacher runs at 8081. And let's make student run at 8082. So let's go to what happened. This is actually MS student, so let's make it run at 8082 as MS student. All right, so this is MS student running at 8082, and let's go to teacher. This is the teacher's microservice. But now they are not microservices, they are just applications that we just create. So I'm going to come here, and this is MS teacher, and it runs at 8081. That is the first thing we are going to do. And now if you run these 2 applications, they are going to run concurrently. That is done. Now this part of the code is the definition or configuration for connecting to MySQL database. I have handled this in a different tutorial. So please look through my channel and find the playlist of connecting Spring to MySQL to store data. And we move on. The first 6 lines, as I mentioned, is for connection to MySQL. Now, for 2 microservices to communicate, as microservices, you need something called a discovery server. Of course, there are 2 kinds of discovery. There's client discovery and server discovery. Today, we are going to be talking of server-side discovery. And to do that, we need a discovery server. The discovery server we are going to use is called Eureka server and is provided by Netflix. So, how do we add Eureka server? Well, it happens that a Eureka server, a discovery server, is also a microservice or just an application that we are going to add, but we need to add the Eureka dependency for it to be a Eureka server. So to do that, just say new and create a new startup project. And this time, I'm going to call it server, MS server, because somehow a server is also a microservice in a way. So I'm going to call it MS server. So the artifact is MS server as well. And the package, I'm going to call it MS server. And description is server discovery server. All right, so now I'm going to say next. Now this next part is important. We need to add the Eureka server dependency. So to add Eureka server dependency, just say Eureka, look for Eureka, and you can say Eureka server here. Okay, perfect. So at this point, I also may like to add Spring Web Starter, and maybe may not be necessary, but it's okay. Let's just add it, and I'm going to go next and finish. So you can see at the status bar here is importing and setting up our server, maybe adding the dependencies and setting up the class part, and everything is fine. So what I would like you to do, of course, we can go around to look into it, but it's better we follow the procedure step by step. So we've created a new application. The next step says add and enable Eureka server to the main application class. So we go to MS server. Did I call it SV school? Did I call it SV school? It's strange. I called it MS server. So at this point, just to be on the same page, I'm going to delete it, and then because I want it having a name that a consistent name with the other application. So let's go new project, and let's go MS server. MS server, that is fine. So the name here should be MS server and next, and we add Eureka server is already here, frequently used, just add it and go next and say finish. So at this point we have it as MS server. That should be the name. All right, let's open it, and we are going to go to the main application class and add enable Eureka server. So come here, and at this point we need to say add enable Eureka server, and just press Ctrl+Shift+O on your keyboard, and it's going to add the necessary namespace while it's saying it's still configuring, as you can see right here. So that is fine. Set the port of the server in the application properties file, the same way you did for other application, and also set the Eureka client register with Eureka to false, and set the Eureka client fetch registry to false. So these 2 steps informs the server that there is no other server, because normally if there are other servers, the Eureka server will try to register with other servers as well. All right. So we are going to go to the application.properties file for the Eureka server, and then we are going to add a port. We are going to say server.port equals, let's say 8761. There is a default port, but I think it should be 8761. But feel free to use a different name if you want, a different port number if you want. So you say Eureka with clients dot register with Eureka. It's gonna be set to false, and the next one is Eureka with clients dot fetch registry, also set it to false as well. All right. So this is what you should do in the Eureka server application.properties file. And if you have challenges, just copy from here and paste. But I recommend you type it yourself. All right. We now need to add the necessary dependencies in the clients. But before I do that, I would like to run this server so that let's test it to see if it's actually working. Although down here we have a place we test it, but at this point I want to test it halfway into the development to see if it's actually working. So I'm going to run the server. I'm going to say here, I'm going to just say run as Spring Boot app, and we are going to go to localhost 8761 to see if we have the server running. But first, we need to wait a couple of seconds so that the server starts up. So let's look at the console and see if the server starts up at port 8761. Let's see. Okay. So we started on port 8761. So let's go to access the server to see if it displays the server. So to do that, just go to port 8761 and just access it, and you see, boom, it gives us the server GUI, as you can see, perfectly okay. At this point, you can say no instances registered, meaning that for now we've not registered the microservices for this server. Let's proceed with the steps. So the next thing is to add the necessary dependencies to the client. So the dependencies we are going to add to the client is Netflix Eureka client. We are going to tell the server that these clients are available. So to do that, we need to go to the pom.xml of both clients. So I'm going to collapse this, and I'm going to expand this pom.xml for. Meanwhile, I can just close everything first, close all. pom.xml for the student and pom.xml for the server. All right, so I'm going to take the dependency. Of course, you can get this dependency from the Maven repository. So add this dependency to the dependency section, all right? To the dependency section. That is what you should do. And I do the same thing for the other service as well. All right. So we've added the dependency that makes these applications to be Eureka clients. Okay. Now we also need to add the version number for the Spring Cloud. So the version number, for instance, if you look at this, you have Java version number. We also need to add version number for the Spring Cloud. Spring Cloud provides the cloud services for Eureka client and server. So it says cloud version is Greenwich release, and that is fine. So I'm going to also go to this place. Here you need to add it in the properties section of the application. All right. Okay, so now the next thing is we need to copy the repository section to the pom.xml of the clients. So the repository section ensures that if there are the dependencies that are not yet available in Maven repository, then it should be copied from the sources where these dependencies exist on the cloud if they are not yet in Maven repository. So that is the Spring milestones. That is what it is called. Now, if you go to the server, I think we may have this Spring milestone here, but I'm not sure. So it's not there. So no problem. You copy it from here. Just copy it from here. So the pom.xml for thing, we copy at this point, repository section, or we place it just here. Let me just shift it a bit. And for the students, we also do the same thing. One thing I also like to copy across is the dependency management section. Copy it from the server. There is dependency management section. Copy it from the server to both clients. Okay, so hopefully everything is okay. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it in both clients. In both clients, I'm going to paste the dependency management section. All right, so at this point, we have set up everything. Hopefully, we are not missing out anything. Okay, we also have another step. Meanwhile, I'm going to save everything. Just click on save, and it's going to save. Okay, so says add and enable Eureka client annotation to the MS Teacher and MS Student services. So you go to the client services, this time go to MS Students and go to open SRC main, go to this place and then open this. Here you add enable Eureka clients. Remember that in case of the server, we added at enable Eureka server. For this time, it's enable Eureka client. Okay, so I'm going to save. So import from this place, that is fine. So I'm going to just copy this and take it to the teacher application class file here. I'm going to just paste it here. Shift Control O. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So now at this point, everything has been set up as microservices at this point. So if we now go to try to access, for now we need to run everything. So let's start with running the server. I'm going to rerun this. First, I'm running the student runners, Spring Boot, and we're going to run everything, all the services at this point. And now we are sure that all the services is going to run because they are all set up on different ports. So you're going to run the teachers API as the teachers microservice as well. Hopefully this is going to start up correctly. This is students starting at port 8081 if I'm not mistaken. 8082, sorry. Good. And teacher we expect to start at 8081. So run it as Spring Boot app. So while we did not shut down the server, that is the Eureka server we created, I think we ran it and for now we've not shut it down. So if it's actually still running, we are simply going to refresh it. All right, so in this case, teacher have started at 8082 and also maybe it's going to register with Eureka server, right? All right, so you can see it's doing its thing. So far, so good. Good. All right, so let's now go to the Eureka, this Eureka server. I'm going to just refresh and let's see. You can see that application has been registered, MS Student, MS Teacher. These two applications has been registered with the Eureka server. If you come up to this place, thumbs up to you. You are doing great. Going to also remind you, if this makes some sense to you, like it, and if you've not subscribed, hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel for updates. Now we are going to now make calls across the microservices. We want to be able to, from the student API, we want to call the teachers API, and from the teachers API, our microservice, we want to call the student microservices. To do that, we need to use something called RestTemplate, and this we are going to create as a bean. All right, so we are going to go to the microservices, not the server, and create these beans. So we are going to say, to create a bean, you simply create a method that returns a REST template and make it a bean, so that we are not going to be calling it every time. We are going to auto-wire it, and when we need the instance, we just get it without having to instantiate every time. We are going to say public REST template, REST template. This point, I'm going to say return new REST template. Hope I'm getting the spelling correctly. Okay, perfect. So REST template is available in, let's see, org.framework.web.client. So let's take it. So we are going to put an annotation that says that this is a bean, and also another annotation that load balances it, because in microservices there might be requests coming to different instances of the same microservice, and this is going to be able to route it based on loads of the within the different microservices. We are going to be talking about load balancing a little more in a different tutorial. All right, so I'm going to simply copy this and put it in the this is teacher, so I'm going to copy it to students as well. So go to MS Students, and somewhere here I'm going to just put it right there. Okay. All right, so the next thing we are going to do is to, okay, I think we follow these steps: annotate with add bean, annotate with add load balance, I just did, auto wire the REST web template into the REST controller for both teacher and student microservices. Of course, you know how to auto wire. So to do that, we're going to go to, let's start with student. Let's go to see that we can get student list from, or we can get the teacher's list from the student. So from the students, this is student controller, we only have a list of students. All right, so let's auto wire the REST template. So I'm going to say add auto wire. I know that to auto wire a bean, you simply create a private member variable of that type, private REST templates, private REST templates, REST templates. Okay, I think this should be it. Yeah, so far so good. If you want, you could have called it get REST template, like in this place, REST template. So that we called it REST template, so it's okay. All right, so we've auto wired in here. So the next thing now is we want to get list of features from here. So the list of features is in the features API, but we are going to get it from here. So we are going to say public list of objects. There is something I want to say. Actually, you can follow this procedure and it's fine. So let's say list of features, no problem. List of features. After now, I'm going to explain what is happening. So we want list of features. Get teachers. Okay. And a list of teachers is available in the teachers and the teacher microservice. Okay. So of course it's going to be get mapping. So from the student microservices, if we go to those /teachers, we should be able to get list of teachers wherever it is. It should be in teachers microservice, but from student microservices, just go /teachers. We are going to get it. Well, to get it, you are going to say we are going to say list of teacher, list of teacher, list of teachers. So we are just creating list of teachers here. Equals list of teachers. Actually, I should not be doing this. Let's see. There is an easy way to do it. Yeah. So basically, let me make it clear. Now, this copy across step 6 and 7, you actually ignore these step 6 and 7. So this step 6 and 7, don't worry about it. So just follow from step 8. So just get a list of objects. Okay. Just get a list of objects. A list of objects could be a student or a teacher. So okay. So get teachers, because we are in student app, and we are going to say RestTemplate dot, and you say get 4 objects, and specify the URL. This time the URL is going to be http/. Now we are not talking about the port number or localhost or where the server is. We simply specify the name of the microservice that holds this information, and we want teachers. Okay, so okay, so the response type is going to be object.class. So it's going to be object. Now I'm going to shift this away a bit so that we could see everything. Object array dot class. Perfect. All right, now I'm going to, it's giving us error. Why? Okay, so we have list of teachers, get 4 objects, teachers, chain type. Okay, we'll come to this. So we should actually have object array. So we are getting object array from get 4 object returns an object array like this, and we are going to return it. Return teachers. Okay, so now we are returning list of objects. So I'm going to just convert it to array before I return it. So so I'm going to just convert it to an array. So I say array dot list, and we give it the list of objects that was returned. All right, so sorry, lowercase, perfect. So at this point, we could get the list of teachers from the students microservice by going to /teachers from the student microservice. So I'm going to rerun again. I'm going to relaunch the teacher microservice, and I'm going to relaunch the student microservice. Actually, I should have relaunched only the student microservice, but no problem. All right, so if everything starts successfully, that is great. So I've relaunched the teacher microservice, and this time I'm going to relaunch the student microservice. Okay, so good, student microservice. Now we have MS teacher. I think we also may need /teacher app. I think so, but let's see how it goes first. Let's see how it goes. So now if I go to if I go to get list of students, so I go to HTTP localhost port 8081 students, port 8081. So port 8081, not port 8080, port 8081. We can have port 8082. Students should be 8082, not 8081, and we have list of students right here. Okay, so now from the student microservice, I can just also try to say teachers. Let's see. Yeah, so now the challenge is from here. So the teachers is returned from a sub sub URL mapping. So we have, let me show you what I'm saying. So if you go to the teachers controller, like teachers controller, so you can see it goes through /teacher app. So I'm going to, let's see again to make sure, teacher app. So here you say /teacher app, teacher app. Okay, just save everything, and you need to now rerun the student microservice because we have changed the student microservice. So let's just rerun the student microservice. That will be fine. Student microservice rerun. So if this is successful, we are able to get lists of teachers from the student microservice. That would be great. We will now try to get list of students from the teachers microservice. So while we wait for it to start, we just take notes that this is the only line we need to add, as well as the rest, auto wiring the REST template in here. So I'm going to come here, and if I say /student app /teachers, I'm going to refresh. And at this point, the students, let me just increase it. We are in the students app, and we are getting the list of teachers from the students app. That's amazing. All right, so let's now get the list of students from the teachers app. So I'm going to just copy this instead of doing it all over again. Let me just copy it and then I'm going to go to this time I'm going to go to the teacher, to the teacher microservice, So go to teacher controller. So basically we are going to just copy this, and we change up things a bit. Going to copy this to the teacher controller. We now want to get a list of students from the teacher controller. So we use this, and we need to auto wire the REST template in here. So I'm going to say auto wired, and we create, we just say private students service, not student service, private REST template, All right, so this is where we are. I'm going to have get teachers. So this time is gonna be get students. The microservice for students is MS students, and is going by student app, and is going by we're gonna get list of students. All right, that's great. So let's just make sure we are not missing out anything. From the teacher service, we are getting a list of students from the student app. Okay, so all right, so let's change up things a bit. So this is students. Okay, so get students, fine. and we are going to call it here, we are going to call it students, and we are returning students. Okay, so I have REST template here. Why? We have error. Okay, we need to add a namespace. Just go import here. Everything is fine. So I'm going to now relaunch the teacher microservice. Let's see if we can get list of students from the teacher microservice. So relaunch the teacher microservice. Meanwhile, while it is starting up, I'm going to go to view the Eureka server to see what is happening in there. So you can see Eureka server. This warning, you don't need to worry about it. So now I refresh it and it says renewal threshold 3, uptime 24 minutes. Okay. A number of CPUs 4. That is my computer is okay. How see one microservice is missing. I'm going to refresh again. So there is an error somewhere. Teacher has been registered. Okay. So okay, perfect. So it was restarting. So now from the teacher's app this time, from the teacher app, we want to get a list of students. So I'm going to say teacher app and get students, and let's see. From teacher app, we need students. Okay, let's go check where this problem is coming from. From teacher app, we need students. So MS students, student app, students. All right. So /teacher app. Okay, we need to change the port number to 8081. Yeah, teacher app runs at port 8081. So now we should be able to get list of students while we are in the teacher. This list of students for each number CGPA. So if we want to get list of teachers available here is teachers, and vice versa. All right, so this is where I'm gonna stop. If you've come this far, great, you've done so well, and I'm going to thank you for viewing. Remember to subscribe if you have challenges following this class, and leave me a comment to let me know, and I'll give you the needed support.